I actually would
Yeah.
love to start with asking you what your
Perfect.
writing process looks like, how
Yeah.
often you write, and why.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely would not advocate my writing process to others because they tell you if you want to write a lot, you should write every day. You should have like a setup. And for me, I kind of just wait until some sort of inspiration strikes or try to just form an idea first of what is not being said or what is something that's useful. I had heard on a podcast once someone mentioned try to think about something that you didn't know last year that would have helped you so much this year. So I try to frame it in that context. Either make it something that I don't see out that's out in the industry or something that I think would be really useful to someone going through their SEO journey. And then after that, I guess for a lot of it, it's just a lot of editing and renditions. Like when I write, I try to just write everything out, grammar, spelling mistakes, and all, and then go back and make sure that it's edited. I actually add like probably about leave like a separate week for adding images and creating them because I think a lot of times for people, it can be hard sometimes to connect with 2,000 words of blog post. So when you add images, it just breaks up that information and allows people to digest it a little bit better. So I really try to make sure that I set aside time for that type of thing. Other than that, yeah, just definitely trying to write as often as possible would be my advice, but I don't necessarily follow that. So, yeah,
But yeah,
no,
that's what I noticed
that's,
with your pieces. They're very thought out, they're
oh,
very
thanks.
thorough, and they have this big value add. And that's important to me as well. Whenever I create
Yeah,
content, whether it's a presentation or an article or even a conversation, I try to focus on the things that have not been said. I don't want to be that
definitely.
person that writes the 99th what is
Yep,
SEO type of article or why SEO is important to in your marketing type of stuff, right? Like the boring
definitely.
things.
Definitely. And like, I know that I do not have the energy to compete with Barry Schwartz on SEO updates. So I can't do that type of short content that's like going to be quick and new and fresh. Like my content's going to be probably more evergreen and longer and, something that's a resource for someone in the long term, hopefully, or at least in a few years. But yeah, some of them take like like the one on machine learning on Moz. I don't know if you've seen that one, but that took about a year to write
Wow.
and research. Yeah, I mean it's 8,000 words, but it's poor Moz
That
having
is
over an 8,000
a
word
small
list.
book, pretty much.
Thanks. Yeah, it's like I think a book is like 50,000 to 80,000 words is like a small one, so it's like a fifth of a book or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but that took like a year. So most of them don't take that long. And usually the writing process is pretty, once I am ready to start writing, it goes usually fairly fast. I'll create like an outline and just start typing.
and then do you collect material along the way? Do you like read something or write down some thoughts in something like Evernote or Google Doc?
Usually I will basically have an outline in mind or some sort of like inspiration and just go for the writing from there. But yeah, I would definitely say like when I'm creating the outline, it's always about researching like what has been said out there, who can I reference in all this? Is there someone who is known for this and really good at it? And then I guess through that process, a lot of your ideas get eliminated. So there's a lot of stuff that's been said, a lot of stuff that, you're never going to create something that's better. So why even try type of thing. But,
Yeah.
it's good that it's out there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I also think that, you shouldn't hold back all too much. If you have something great to say or new stance on like some of these evergreen topics, I think you
Yep.
should absolutely get it out. And I wonder where this comes from. Can you connect it back to something like your, I don't know, like your childhood or teenage years where you started writing or, where you had that kind of
Getting deeper.
getting
Yeah.
yeah, it's like actually a psychology session right here, so welcome. But no, I wonder, has this always been your personality and always been something that you did, or is that something you recently developed?
That's a good question because I definitely, growing up, didn't see myself as a writer. I was always more of the artist side of things, so like the graphic arts, which I think is where a lot of the visuals come into play, because I'm always trying to make things visually easy to digest. And in terms of writing, I guess when it really started for me, when I really started to feel more comfortable with writing, was when I did NaNoWriMo. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
No.
it's basically, it stands for National November's Writers Month. And the goal is to write 50,000 words in a month. So that breaks down to about 1,667 words a day
Wow.
or something like that. And the whole goal of it is to prevent you from editing your work too much, because a lot of writers suffer from feeling like they're not good enough in writing.
Yeah.
I think probably everyone suffers from from that at some point. And if you don't, you probably should. At least a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit. So for me, the whole idea is to just like write and just keep writing, and every day. And if you miss like a day, the numbers just keep growing exponentially. So I think for me, I finished with about like 70,000 words one year. And after that, I just feel like I just became way more comfortable with writing. It became less of like a laborious type thing and more of like, get out your thoughts and then go back and edit. And going back and editing is so much easier, and so many people can do it too. I mean, like, I can, for instance, pass it to Max, who I work with, Max Prin. We can pass it to marketing, and they can kind of all give their feedback, and that in a way transforms the article too to be something that's better. But if you are constantly editing your work, it just becomes, you just get stuck in this perfectionist vortex of like never writing anything and just never feeling like you can write anything. So I think for me that was probably when I started to become more comfortable with writing.